A few months ago, Rockstar did something they typically do not do. They increased the payouts of some of the various contact and mission work in GTA Online. Among these increases was a 50% buff to the Superyacht Life missions, which coincidentally are also offering double money in RP through the remainder of this update week. Today, I want to go over just how much money you can expect to make while also covering two of the fastest missions in the Superyacht Life catalog, and the well-known glitch that may or may not be a factor. More on this later. But first, the payouts. Typically, in years past, the payouts for these missions were complete garbage. Like other similarly priced contact missions, there was no monetary incentive for completing any of these jobs, especially in recent years when the cost to purchase in-game merchandise went through the roof. So, fast forward to May of this year, Rockstar finally realized this and gave us a little bump in the payouts. In years past, the payouts were anywhere from $12,000 to $18,000 on normal mode. Those of you unfamiliar with the contact missions, the reason there's a range is because your final payout is largely dependent on how long you spend in the mission. If it takes you longer to complete, you get more money, which is why some players will complete the mission and then just go AFK for 5 or 10 minutes to reap the most money possible. Typically, the maximum occurs at 15 minutes. Regardless, the end result was a very meager payment, which prompted Rockstar to buff this particular mission to the tune of 50% more, which translates to an increase of $18,000 to $27,000. Yeah, nothing to write home about, but definitely better than what we had before. So, when you factor in playing these in hard mode, which I highly recommend, plus waiting around to reap the most money possible, you can end up making a very decent amount of money. I'll show you the exact numbers here in a moment. Alright, so let's jump into the missions themselves. First on the list is my overall recommendation, and I'll show you why here in a moment, called simply Overboard. The premise is this: track down joyriders on jet skis, retrieve some stolen paperwork, and then blow up some boats at the Yacht Club in Vespucci. My biggest tip here is that you can call in your choice of weaponized vehicle from Pegasus. My recommendation, if you have one, would be the Buzzard, but any vehicle that's weaponized, preferably with lock-on missiles, should be your priority. After kicking off the mission, you're going to want to take the supplied helicopter towards Vespucci. And don't head for the yellow waypoint first though. Instead, go to the helipads next to your Higgins Heli Tour business. On your way, call in Pegasus to request the Buzzard. But don't hit the select button until you've almost landed, because it'll just freeze and the vehicle won't spawn. After the Buzzard appears, get in and then head for the canals. Now, when you take off, you may lock on to some of the boats you'll need to destroy later. You can take some of these out if you wish, but the priority should be to fly over the parking lot that's between the two buildings. The first lock-on should be 2 individuals on foot. Sometimes the paperwork you need to collect will be with them. If you don't see any green marker on the minimap after blowing them up, it means they didn't have the paperwork and you need to head to option number 2, which is the jet skis. Because you have the Buzzard, eliminating the 2 individuals on the jet skis should be fairly quick and easy. Once they're dispatched, you can now see the green marker appear on your minimap. This is the paperwork that you need to collect. The canals are pretty shallow, so no need to park the helicopter and then hunt them down on foot. You can just drop down near its vicinity and you're good to go. From here, you're going to want to head back to their marina and take out all the boats that you didn't eliminate when you first left. I believe there's a total of 10. You'll eventually see a police helicopter arrive, and it's probably a good idea to blow it up as soon as you see it, because it'll just be following you around and making your life a pain. After all the boats are destroyed, you are done. Simply leave the area now and then wait for the end screen. Now, as mentioned earlier, if you want to reap the most money possible, simply stay in the area and then wait it out. I usually just land on top of one of the buildings somewhere and then just set your timer. Choice is entirely up to you. And that's it. You can see here that this one took me 3 minutes and 55 seconds to complete. Not bad for what you're getting paid. Oh, and there's no cooldown for these missions either. Okay, my second choice for the Superyacht Life missions would be the D-Day mission. This one is, again, pretty straightforward. However, to complete this one as quickly as possible, you're not going to want to follow the default game plan. which is to land on a barge, jump in a mini sub, travel, what seems like forever, to the rival yacht, and then eliminate the enemy. Instead, you're going to want to do this. First, take the supplied helicopter to the barge. You'll now need to land on the barge and then enter the sub in order for the game to kick off the next stage. As soon as this happens, usually when you see the yellow marker appear in your minimap, you can exit the sub and then return to get back into the helicopter. You're now going to see a red perimeter around the rival yacht. As soon as you get inside this area, the yacht security system will kick in and you'll get fired on. So make sure you're high enough in the air before you enter this area. You're doing this because A, you'll need enough distance to jump out of the helicopter and then fall towards the yacht, and B, you don't want to travel too far inside the red perimeter with the helicopter because you'll get shot down. So the huge tip here is to aim for the front of the yacht. You want to crash land somewhere near the front of the boat. Splash landing on the front of the boat would be ideal, but don't get too laser focused on this. Even if you land in the water near the front of the boat, you'll be fine as well. When this happens, you'll obviously die, but when you respawn, you're now going to be back in the submarine near the rival's yacht, saving you from all that travel time. Also, when you respawn, the enemy you need to eliminate will already be dead. Win-win. And here's where the glitch comes in. As soon as you respawn and travel like 5 feet towards the yacht, the mission end screen will sometimes appear, saving you from having to get into something faster to quote-unquote leave the area. If this glitch occurs, consider yourself lucky because you will have now completed this mission in almost 3 minutes flat, maybe even less depending on your skill level, making it, technically, the fastest mission. But don't get too confident. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, this glitch may or may not be a factor because, unfortunately, it doesn't happen all the time. Now, maybe there's someone watching that's done this mission 1,000,000 times and has a method for guaranteeing the glitch, but for me, it's a hit or miss proposition. And if you don't automatically get the end screen, as I said, you'll have to surface to grab something faster and then leave the area in order for the end screen to appear. If this happens, expect around 3.5 to 4 minutes to complete, which is on par with the Overboard mission. So in the end, I would still recommend the Overboard mission because I think it's easier, especially if you're a newbie. Having a free fall and hit the front of a yacht while being shot at is not as easy as it sounds. And as I've just shown, it may not prove to be the fastest overall time anyway. Oh, and one last thing. In regards to the money, what you're seeing here is me hanging around after the Overboard mission. Like I said earlier, I just land on top of one of the buildings and then go AFK for a while. After waiting about 15 minutes, I then leave and collect a whopping $144,000. Not bad considering there's no cooldown and you're receiving more than a quarter of what you would now get in the Kayo or Quartz heist these days, while taking a fraction of the time. I'd say this is some pretty decent cash. Alright, so that's it, my friends. Thank you for watching. As always, if you liked the video and want to help out, please subscribe, give a thumbs up, and let me know what you think. Is anyone else going to be partaking in the Superyacht Life missions this week? If so, do you have any other tips and tricks or other preferred methods? If so, drop a comment below and let everyone know. Until next time, be happy, be well, be safe, be be the one maestro.